You can start now, sir.
Okay. So, good evening, friends. It's a pleasure to be back again. Uh, as we have circulated the notice, and I hope that you all have received it, uh, we are going to have a dialogue on the theme attachment and detachment are both gratifying. Now, this is based on chapter 56 of the book, The Word Within. But before I read the content of the dialogue Krishji had with the lady, uh, I thought I should remind ourselves what is the purpose of the dialogue is and in a broad way how it should be conducted. Not that I'm conducting the dialogue and you need to be told, but I think just sharing something which in our discussions sometimes we forget. So I'm not taking a pedestal to speak to you, but nor am I sermonizing. But I just wanted to mention that there is a very good book published by KFI Chennai, and the name of the book is A Door Open to Everyone, to anyone, sorry, A Door Open to Anyone. This basically contains statements made by Krishna at different times about the purpose of study centers, why they were created, and so on. And there is a chapter on dialogue. So I don't have the book right now with me, but I have noted down a few points which I thought I'll share before I go to uh, uh, the theme of our dialogue today. Kay says that Krishmurti gave a much deeper meaning to dialogue and pointed out that it's a means to religious inquiry into truth. It is a mode of enabling the realization of the truth. And a few things he was very emphatic about is that in a dialogue, we must have a sense of not knowing, but the willingness to learn. Second point he said was, we have gathered here as friends and must have respect and affection for each other and also their views. Third point he has mentioned is there should be no sense of competition, rivalry, and there should be no desire to impress or first to point out something. Next point is one must not take sides on a point so that there is no division. Next is one should be in a mode of observation all the time. Krishnamurti linked dialogue to a game of tennis where the question is like a ball tossed from one court to the other and each player returning it with his comments till the players disappear and the ball is suspended in midair. That is what the dialogue should be. Our points are over, but the question remains. Then he says one should not be attached to his viewpoint, or for that matter, to any point, because then one is not able to listen. And lastly, there is no authority here, and all of us are in a state of learning and observation. Excuse me. I think having said all this, I'll just read the theme little longer, but please bear with me. Eve said she was a woman with a large family and many responsibilities. She loved her family, they were dependent on her, and she was somewhat on them. It was not an oppressive dependency, but it could become one. She wondered what detachment was, and as she was getting on in age, shouldn't she cultivate it? What reason did she want to cultivate detachment? I suppose, to be honest, not to suffer, she said. There lies the whole question. To avoid suffering, let's cultivate detachment. Being forewarned that attachment entails sorrow, we want to become detached. Attachment is gratifying, but perceiving pain in it We want to be gratified in another manner through detachment. Attachment and detachment are the same as long as they yield gratification. So, what we are seeking is gratification, craving to be satisfied by any means. We are dependent or attached because it gives us pleasure, power, and a sense of being, though in it are sorrow and fear. We seek detachment for pleasure also, not to be hurt, not to be wounded in our being. Pleasure, gratification is our search. We are not condemning or justifying, but we are trying to understand. For without understanding, there is no way out of this confusion and contradiction. Can craving ever be satisfied? Or is it a bottomless pit? Craving for the low or for the high is still a craving, a burning, and what can be consumed soon becomes ashes. And craving for gratification still remains, ever burning, ever consuming, and there is no end to it. Attachment and detachment are both binding, both must be transcended. What then is our question? Not how to cultivate detachment, but how to free the mind from caving, from the search for deeper and wider gratifications, from the consciousness of being or becoming to transcend the observer and the observed. It is very strenuous to free the mind, the whole being from craving, from desire, from want. We are the result of craving, and to go beyond ourselves is extremely difficult. But this we must first understand the necessity of freeing thought feeling from craving. The intention is of the highest importance. If this is clearly perceived and understood, then the subtle ways of the self can be traced out and rooted out. That is the work of constant awareness. With deeper and wider awareness, there comes almost imperceptibly the liberation from craving, from want. This liberation is not the effort of will but of understanding. This understanding, born of awareness and meditation, has its own momentum, its own activity, which, if allowed to flow, unhindered by greed and memory, enters into the bliss of the eternal. Only in that all conflict, all ignorance, and all sorrow ceases. Does this mean, she asked, that she will have to withdraw from the world, which she couldn't do as she has young children and other responsibilities? In becoming aware of the implications of craving, of which she is but intellectually, superficially aware inwardly, and if that awareness is not distorted, dissipated, but allowed to flow into ever deeper and wider comprehensions, that very awareness will bring the answer. It is not a matter of decision of what she should do, but of heightened awareness and of deep self knowledge. A decision, a conclusion without self knowledge will only bring further conflict and confusion. But with self knowledge comes right thinking, which alone brings its own true action. I came, she said presently, to learn how to cultivate detachment, but as I see it now, a much greater problem had arisen, and perhaps there'll be joy in it. We can take a few moments and then share our understanding. Yes, Harshad bhai, please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
we can. Yeah.
Uh, the image of a person walking on a tight rope comes to my mind when I read this. The person who is walking on a rope carries an umbrella, and if the person is falling on the left side, then he turns the umbrella on the right side to maintain the balance. And similarly, if the person is falling on the right side, he will take the umbrella slightly on the left so that he remains in balance. So it seems to me that this person who came to Krishnamurti, she was slightly attached to, and other people were attached to her, and more or less things were all right. But she was thinking that sometimes this attachment also leads to some kind of bondage, because when you are attached, then you have to do things which you don't like to do. You don't have much freedom if you are attached. It's like attached to a rope. And then, so she wanted to cultivate detachment to be free. But then, even if a person becomes detached, then sometimes the person may feel isolated, lonely, and feel that something is lacking. So there is this conflict between attachment and detachment, just like falling on the left and right. But beyond this attachment and detachment, there is something, a different kind of relationship in which there is neither attachment nor detachment, but clarity. And that is possible, I feel. And also, Krishnaji says that it comes with self knowledge and ongoing awareness of what is happening within us. And in that state, where there is neither attachment nor detachment, there is this feeling of what Krishnaji would call love or beauty. And in that, there is the freedom, real freedom. And then there is, because in both attachment and detachment, there is a self acting ego who want to go the other way around. Whether it is attached, it wants to be detached. If it is detached, it wants to get attached. So this conflict goes on. But in this state beyond attachment and detachment, there is clarity, freedom from the self. There is love and beauty exists. But many people who don't understand this state, sometimes they will say this person is insensitive because he doesn't care much about, and he lives in his own world. But it is not like that. Okay, I have finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshad bhai. I think we should examine, is it possible to be out of craving so long there is a self? That perhaps can throw some light on. Because self is very strong in both attachment as well as detachment, because the moment we seek any one of them, it implies that we are seeking something for ourselves. There is some gratification. One for pleasure, the other maybe because we want to avoid suffering. Yes, Dinesh ji, unmute yourself.
Are you able to listen to me?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
This question of attachment and detachment seems to go very long, sir, or rather deep. What is behind this attachment and detachment? In my views, there is a feeling of, basically, it is a feeling. The problem is of feeling. He has also mentioned it's a problem of feeling thought. So, behind that, there is a possession, feeling of possession, that I possess this. This possession, in my views, it is a possession. Because of possession, man gets attached or detached. Now, this possession is coming from where? In the morning, I awake, I get a feeling of existence. Then immediately I thought comes, and then afterwards I get a feeling of my body, which becomes me. I say that this is me because of my senses give me the understanding that this is me because I possess my body. Then I am having likes and dislikes. Because of my insecurity, I goes for this my likes and dislikes, and I say that I want this, I want that. So likes and dislikes makes me force me to extend my boundaries basically. And when I force my boundaries, I say that this is also me. So first me is body, then it becomes my mind. This thing is mine. So me has extended to mine now that this is mine, and because of mine, the possession comes into picture. Now, so behind possession, these all things are involved. Means basic insecurity, then likes, dislikes. So all these he is stating it as a craving. So unless one has got under because of this, all of this, the self is formed or ego is formed rather. So ego is having this all content in itself. So unless he understand who, from where this, what is the source, and from where this feeling is, basic feeling is generated. So basic feeling is going very deep, right up to the I and formation of I, formation of me, formation of mind, possession, likes, dislike, all these things are involved in this attachment and detachment. So unless he has got clarity to that level and self-knowing, so simple awareness will not help. People say that simple looking or simple by simple looking things may change, or by simple awareness things may change. Unless he's having the total understanding of self-knowing, as suggested by Krishnamurti, then only I think, as Harshad sir has also pointed out, that self-knowing is to be completed, and then only there is a possibility that the person may be having a freedom. Why I am saying possibility? Because if we see practically, the detachment and attachment may technically remain. Technically remain means physically or practically it will be there, or the property maybe belongs to you or this thing. But the feeling behind it, there has to be a transformation in the feeling itself. And when we say should be a transformation in feeling, it directly goes to the from where the feeling has generated and who has generated that thing. First, I say that I like a song, particular song. I am having a liking for a particular picture song. So first, I start liking it, and that afterwards it becomes a recording, and that recording then controls me. I don't want, but that song comes to my mind. So it means how it has come. All my recordings have become taken control of my ego or I. But I say that because of ignorance, I say that I am thinking of this song or this thing. It is coming to my mind and all that. But so the whole question of I, my, me, and mine has to be understood, and then only there is a possibility. Perhaps there is a possibility of freedom. These are my views. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Dinesh ji talked about understanding, and I feel that understanding happens in relationship with people, with family, with friends, in the office, everything which we do, whenever there is something which disturbs me, then there is an opportunity to look within, because generally we blame somebody else if somebody else says something which is unpleasant, and I get angry, then I will justify my anger and will find the fault with the other person. But instead of finding fault with others, if I can look inward and say, what is it that is disturbing me? Why do I get angry or hurt? Then there is a possibility of understanding, learning, and we find that many thoughts are going on within us. We are not thinking, but thinking is going on. And but apart from thinking, there is something called awareness, which is also available to us. And in that awareness, we can see how thinking is unfolding and creating problems. And even one can feel, or one can find out, that in this awareness, this thinking is creating the sense of I or me. It comes from thinking. And so to see it clearly, it requires this choiceless awareness or intelligence. And as long as it is not awakened, then we will have many doubts, many questions. We can go on discussing for many, many years, and we can gather a lot of knowledge, and we can argue very well. But the real thing is looking inward silently and seeing exactly what is happening without trying to change it, what Krishnaji calls choiceless awareness. As long as that is not happened, then these problems, many doubts, many questions, many dialogues will continue to happen. Okay, I have finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshad bhai. I
Is
want
there
to
is
mention
something
that.
can I say something here?
Yes, please.
Sir, I have worked on myself and I found one thing, that we use the terms like seeing, listening, as JK said. When I read JK, I also was fascinated by these words, seeing, looking. But when we go deep, when a feeling is generated, can I really see it? Can I really taste it? Can I really touch it? Can I really smell it? So it is not coming under any senses basically. It is to be tackled at the level of experiencing itself. So all the five senses are helpless there. So experiencing now, how this experiencing is generated? Which thing is generating this experiencing? So unless one vibrates at that level and goes deep, I think still I'm struggling. But at that level, one has to work. That's what my thinking is. What Arshad sir has to say.
Yeah, let other people want to say. Yeah.
I agree with you, Dinesh ji, but I want to say that why can't we start very simply? Like, I can see that I'm attached to something, maybe my ideas or to a person or to a property. Can I see that? And do I see that the kind of issues it brings forth? Happiness, sorrow, jealousy, and so on. Can I see all that? I think that is where I have to start rather than saying that I must have total detachment or total attachment. Forget about the words. Do I see that in my daily life that if I am, attached to my work or my ideas or somebody I love, and what it does to me, if somebody, talks to him or her, I feel jealous and I want it all the time, all those things. That's very easy to see in our daily life. That is where one has to start. And if you are really aware that what attachment is doing to us, something happens. It depends on our capacity, and one can see that in daily life. Otherwise, theoretically, we can talk about it a number of times, and perhaps this forum is to discuss intellectually, but that is the place to start with.
Yes, sir. We start there. We understand intellectually, but afterwards, the things become, as he said, JK pointed out, is strenuous.
We have to understand intellectually first, I fully agree with you, and then test it out in our daily life. Then only it makes sense. Otherwise, it remains as a knowledge, as information to us. Yeah. Shakti ji wants to say something. Yes. Unmute yourself, Shakti ji.
Yes, sir. You see, the problem with attachment is that until when it is pleasant to us, it is gratifying, then it's okay with us. We are not disturbed by it. But when we start feeling the problems of attachment and the sting of attachment, then we try to shift from attachment to detachment. The pleasure which comes with detachment is the freedom from the displeasure which attachment was giving to us. Here in this dialogue, Krishnamurti is telling us that the intention is of the highest importance. If this is clearly perceived and understood, then the subtle ways of the self can be traced out and rooted out. That is the work of constant awareness. With deeper and wider awareness, there comes almost imperceptibly the liberation from craving, from want. And further he says that very awareness will bring the answer. It is not a matter of decision of what she should do, but of heightened awareness and of deep self-knowledge. And also with self-knowledge comes right thinking, which alone brings its own true action. So I think it is somewhere left upon us whether we really want to be observant, aware, not in order to be free from something, but to see, to test it out, that what happens to any craving in the light of awareness, however fleeting that awareness is. Because if we take it from Krishnamurti that awareness does this and does that, then we may appreciate it. But I think it is very important to experiment with our detachments, our attachments, our cravings, to see what happens to them intrinsically when there is unawareness. Because when there is unawareness, they multiply with thoughts. So this one has to, if one wishes to go deeper into it, one has to go into the experiential mode to see and to test it out. That does it really happen that when there is awareness, the texture of any craving changes. So this is for us to see. This is an invitation by Krishnamurti, I think, to all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Shakti. Ravi wants to say something. Yes, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. I don't know what awareness we are talking about, but I do feel that realization of slavery to that thing, particular attachment, is realization, and getting out of that framework is detachment. When you realize that you are attached to something and that attachment is harming you, not others, but you, your ego or yourself, and it's creating a pain, long journey of pain, then gradually you get out of it. Whether it's a book, knowledge, person, personality, idea, or ideology, you get one by one out of it. And that is my personal experience. And I'm not able to understand the detachment. When you are not attached, that attachment has gone, and you are not detached, but you are not attached to that detachment. I do not know that how come that detachment brings gratification. And the second thing, I do understand. Somebody could put some light on that thing. And the second thing, recently I found out in my mind that what awareness is. I feel that awareness and alertness is a natural process. Earlier, I had been thinking that I have to bring it, but I feel now that it's completely natural and automatical process. It happens to all of us. When you realize that you are craving for something, that is awareness. I do feel when your mind realizes that you are possessed by something, you are possessed by the person, or you are attached to something, and that is awareness. And constant awareness is there, like for physical security, there is a constant awareness. So I think those awareness and alertness are hidden by thinking, thought, or something else. I do not know exactly. Maybe I may be wrong or I may be right. But if thoughts or other things can be get redone, then that awareness, natural awareness we are talking about, will be constantly available. Thank you.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
About Ravi said something about detachment, how it is gratifying. So, one advantage you can say of detachment is that you don't get too much affected if something happens to your family or friends. If you are not attached, you don't worry about them or don't think so much about them. But when you are attached, then you worry a lot even when that person is away, and you constantly think about if something might happen to that person. So detachment, in a way, it doesn't create too much sorrow in your life, but then it may create a feeling of loneliness, because if you are detached, it means that you are not much related to people around, to the nature and everything. You live in kind of an isolation. So that is the difficulty with detachment, that it can create a feeling of isolation, not related to anything. And so people like to get attached so that they feel that they are alive. And what Shakti ji said about the sting of attachment. So when such a thing happens, when attachment creates a deep sorrow in one's life, then a question comes to a person, intelligent person, will say, to whom this sting is happening. So it is happening to me. The answer will come, I am in sorrow. Then the next question could be, what is this I or me? From where does it come? So to probe into deeper into this question of I or me, from where it comes, one has to be really silent and curious, and with all the energy, focus on how this I or me comes. And in such a state of awareness, maybe the I or me doesn't appear. And at that time, a person may feel a sense of real freedom and say, oh, wonderful, there is no I, no me. There's just only looking at whatever it is. So that is that deep awareness which Krishna ji is talking about. And it cannot be cultivated, but people who are deeply interested, examining their own life, not talking about the world and the problem of the world, that comes later. First, one must focus on one's own problem in relationship. And when there is some clarity comes, then it may affect other people, and one can become very responsible to everything what is happening in the world. Okay, I have finished.
Thank you, Shakti ji. Shakti ji wants to say something.
You see, this Krishnamurti in this passage has used this word heightened awareness. So somewhere the heightened awareness is connected with less crowd of thoughts. And it is thought that fuels craving either for or against anything. But one is so attached to thoughts, because thought gives pleasure also, that one is afraid to leave that part of the psyche. And then it becomes a conflict, it becomes a fragmentation. But this is true that when there is this awareness, the thought is not fueling any tendency, or at least this can be rare. But one thing is very clear, that when there is unawareness, thoughts, they go on fueling any craving. It goes on making it stronger and stronger. But somewhere it seems that we want to be free of craving when it disturbs us. But then there are other occasions that this craving gratifies us, and then we don't want to leave it. So we want to hold on to also and leave it also. So this is a freedom in exploration, how far we wish to go, and to be honest about it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shakti. I think I I tend to more or less agree with Shakti ji, because in a state of awareness, I would not say that you are you wipe out your thoughts completely, but in that state, your the thought or your thinking process is not creating any problem in your looking. So that is the way one can see, because as Shakti said, attachment is more or less a very pleasurable thing most of the times. It only creates problems when it gives us pain, when there is a separation or there is an ending. That is the time we feel that it's a problematic thing. But if we are able to see what attachment is doing in my relationship, in my daily living, then that problem will perhaps not arise. Then one doesn't have to look for detachment. One is able to see the whole spectrum of relationship. This is the way I look at it. Yeah. Yes, Dinesh ji.
Are you able to listen to me?
Yes, yes.
Sir, this, if you see, in animals also, this faculty is already there. They also mark their boundaries, and they are also attached to the things. Even in case of lion and tigers and other, we see, they mark their boundaries and they prefer to live in that particular boundary. So this is coming not only from our conditioning, but this is deep rooted in all the even animal kingdom also. So only I think the human race is having a faculty that they can see that the same energy which is which is creating the pleasure, the same energy is creating grief also or sorrow also. So what is this energy basically? When the Krishnamurti says that freedom from the known is attention into the unknown. So when the same faculty is understood experientially and focused that it focuses on the unknown or it remains free, then only I think the freedom from all this matter is possible, or there is a transcendence is what word he has used, transcendenting all these things, attachment, detachment, etc., is possible only in that case. That's what I feel. Thank you.
Can we have other viewpoints? Yes, Ravi.
Are we not attached to thinking and a thought? Because I think that that is the most crucial thing we are going to we are facing. We all constantly attached to thinking. It gives the pleasure as well as imagination as well as uh, time pass and busyness. So we are attached to thinking and thoughts. Thank you.
Can I say something here?
Yes.
Can we see, if we go deep, this thinking is an automatic process, a sort of automatic process. The same energy, it remains always in the momentum. It remains always moving. So whether you are unaware or aware, it has to move. Only the thing you just channelize it, a sort of thing. that you are aware. In awareness, I think it has a different action altogether. But if you are not aware, then if you see that your subconscious and unconscious mind, it remains in the process. So what it does when you are unaware, it gives you the thought of not of your interest or not of your liking or which you don't want to have the thoughts. But if you are aware, then probably there is a possibility that you get the thoughts which you like or you want to rather. Right is not a good word. Like is not a good word, but you want to have this. You may want to have technical thoughts, and you want to be free from the emotional and feelings, etc. But that is the possibility. I think if you are aware, then it is a possible. There is a possibility. At least we can have the idea. But thinking is, I think, it's a natural process.
Would you define awareness, Dineshji? Because I think Krishnaji uses awareness in a different sense than what you are saying. Could you define what awareness means to you?
To me, sir, see, I am having a background of the tradition, so I would say that consciousness basically is creates the awareness. Consciousness is even goes even beyond awareness. That's what the tradition says. Tradition says that consciousness is the basic background or substratum on which this consciousness has been given. So even consciousness is secondary. Krishnamurti said that says somewhere indirectly or points out that you are a second-hand person. So even the awareness is because of awareness I get this experiencing of my existence. Even the conscious this awareness gives me the experience that I am exist. I exist. So this thing is coming even beyond this thing, means your existential level altogether. That's what my views are.
I don't know. I've not read tradition, so I can't comment on that.
Krishnamurti, I think, indirectly points out this unknown to that. What Harshad sir has to say on the thoughts.
I think Harshad was not available. We can listen to Mr. Ramarao. Yes, sir. Unmute yourself. Yes, go ahead.
Sir, the sentence which you read, it touched me a lot.
Okay.
We are the result of craving. What it says, the conditioning or which is gathered from the millennia of memory, it generates itself is a momentum for the craving. Then the conditioning which is carried by birth, unless until that total exhaust the loaded information or conditioning with a lot of information and a lot of XXX, so many factors. The craving go on continue. What we can do?
I think,
This is
Mr.
my question.
Ramarao, as you mentioned, the biological conditionings, they come to us, from thousands of years of human race. Similarly, the social conditionings, as a child is born, it grows, it inherits the conditionings of the parents, relations, society, peers. So we have those conditionings. And likes, dislikes, attachment, all that begins to form right from the beginning when the child, child is attached to the mother because she takes care of him or her, and so on. What Kay is talking about is basically, can we be aware of those conditionings, those cravings? Whether they stay with us or they go, I don't know. That will become a part of the desire process. But can I be aware that I'm craving for something? And what happens if my desire is not fulfilled? Where does it lead me to? These are
I
issues
could
which
see,
need to be, yeah, these issues need to be
I
looked into.
see the basic day-to-day works and existence, it is of craving. I could see clearly. To sit with you, people of group of people of you like, it is also my craving to learn, to see new things.
I don't want to play with words, but I will put it slightly in a different way. There is a like, dislike, and there is a craving is something, the way I would look at it, that if I don't get it, I really get disturbed. It upsets me completely. But like is, I like somebody, and he has promised to come and meet me, doesn't come, it's okay. I realize that, well, maybe he has some other work to do. It doesn't disturb me. But a craving is something like craving for liquor, craving for cigarette. I'm taking it to the base level where you get so upset if you don't get it. So I think Harshad Bhai wants to say something.
Yeah. Are
Yeah,
you able to hear my voice?
yeah, yes. Please
Yeah.
unmute yourself. Unmute. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Are you able to hear now?
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay, because in between, it seemed that I had lost contact with the meeting because
Yes.
somebody had come
Oh, okay,
outside.
okay.
Okay, yeah. So sometimes people say, like one lady who I met in Rajghat, and she was a foreigner, and she said, Krishnaji says that if you are aware, then you are free. But she said, I am aware many problems, but I am not free. So what we call awareness, it's not just like um, thinking. It's completely different than thinking. And from my feeling that when there is this awareness exists, which is not thinking, then thinking is no longer a problem. Whether there is a pleasure or pain can happen, but it doesn't create more problems. But you can see that, yes, it is there, but there, it is like this awareness is like moving with what is, whatever is unfolding in the mind without trying to change it. And in that awareness, there is no sense of I or me. It's just looking. And so this sense of I or me, which comes from thinking, it creates many problems. Pleasure becomes a problem, pain becomes a problem, to do some work becomes a problem, not to do any work, one may feel also a problem. So all these problems are created because that awareness, choiceless awareness, which is beyond thinking and feeling, as long as it is not there, everything will become problem. And when this awareness is there, you have to do something, you will do it. You want make so much fuss about it. So pleasure can come, pain can come, but it doesn't leave a mark on you. And you move with whatever is happening. So that is what I feel, that awareness, the word we are using, is not just knowing. Knowing is different than awareness. Okay, I finish.
I think Dinesh, you want to say something else? Yes.
Are you able to listen to me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
The point which Mr. Ramarao has raised, in my views, there are no, from which time I am conditioned, from when I am getting this craving and desires, and that is simply I do not know. As JK says, I do not know, because it has got no beginning, because it has got so infinitely back that to me practically it has got no beginning. But yes, there is a possibility of, as he points out, there is a possibility of ending of it. Now, as Harshad sir was also saying, right, saying, it is a very interesting that when I am reading something, at that particular moment, I'm possessed by the content of the book, and at that time I'm free from all the other pains and griefs and all that. Similarly, when I'm listening something or listening to music, at that time also I'm free from the other of my worries and all that. For that particular moment, I'm free from all the other things. So there is some hidden faculty available which can make me free per se. So freedom can be per se sort of thing can be there. That's what we can have a vague idea, or we can have at least we can be aware of that there is something which makes me free at that particular time. These are my views.
I like to say about that, Dinesh ji, that
Yes, sir.
music may make me free for a certain period, or a film, or reading a book, but isn't that a kind of a escape, or hiding something which is there, which comes again and again in relationship with people, some conflict and other problem. So what my question is, isn't this music or playing a sports is a kind of a escape, temporary escape? It doesn't give you the real understanding of when the real problem come, like fear, anger, jealousy, loneliness. So to be in touch with all this problem when they arise, exactly when they arise, that is what I call awareness. So that you can see the beginning of it, and not suppressing it and reading a book or listening to music. Okay, I finish.
Okay. Thank you, Harshad. I think Ravi wants to say something. Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Harshad, two questions. One, initially I was very good in being aware with what is for almost 15 days or 20 days. Then later on for last 3 months, I am not able to be aware at all. And it's bringing pain to me, guilt to me, because I'm putting a lot of effort and it's it becomes repulsive and resistive. So that is the first question. And the second thing, this escape you were talking about, reading books, film, and music. Isn't it good in some sense that you get relief from that pain, play, or problem or conflict for time being, so that your mind get a rest, good rest, and you come back? Because if you are constantly into that conflict, you get the headache, frustration, or whatever. Thank you.
Okay, may I say something?
Yes.
Okay, Ravi, if you have to make a lot of effort to be aware, then it will be very tiring. But if you are curious about your own mind and not in order to achieve this awareness or anything, but just curiosity to look how everything is moving within, then I think that is a kind of a natural curiosity. When it is there, then there will be no feeling of effort. It's like a girl is carrying her little baby and everybody says, isn't this a burden on you? And the girl says, no, it is not my brother. I am not feeling any burden. So when a person is really interested in learning about oneself, then it can become a source of energy, entertainment, everything can come from it. And one will not even need to watch films or music or anything like that. And what Ravi said, isn't it good to be away from problems by listening to music? I would say yes, it is good if there is a real, you feel very tired and the music makes you forget your problem for a little while, that is good. But Krishnamurti talks about something much more serious or deeper than escaping from our problems. Okay, I have finished.
Thank you, Harshad Bhai. Anandji, would you like to say something?
Yes, sir. I forgot the point, sir. I'll come back to you on that. I'll come back.
Okay. Okay,
Can I say
Dinesh ji.
something?
Yes, please, please.
Yeah, I agree completely with the Harshad sir that this is basically escape. But I wanted to ask the attraction towards one thing. What is the faculty which is allowing me to escape into that? I'm not focusing right now on the content. I'm negating it. Yes, it is escape. But by which faculty I am able to do this escape? That is a hidden thing. And one has to focus on that hidden faculty. If one can focus on that hidden faculty, then I think there is a possibility of attention into unknown. So there's something hidden or some intelligence is coming into play. That if I can have some access to it, I think then there is the solution. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Ramarao. Unmute. Unmute yourself. Unmute.
So, Dinesh ji, when you say escaping, then in the I could say clearly that in total life, in day to day, whatever the activity which is going on, it's a one type of escape from escape. Is it not?
See, you are asking my views. Can I
Please.
answer it?
Yes.
See, whatever words we are using, we are labeling it. Whether it is escape or whether we are saying it is a good or it is a bad, these are all words and this is thinking process. Actually, what the surges you are having from inside, you are doing that. You are having a desire, you are having it, your various intentions. According to that, desire is created and you are going for it. So this is what life is. How are you understanding what is the energy? You say that my energy is depleted. You say that I am fresh. I am having a very energetic, feeling motivated or energetic. So what is that thing basically? So again, we are using the words motivation and all that. But what is actually happening there? If I think we are able to focus on that, then I think we may have that understanding which JK is trying to point out. Thank you.
Can we say something like that? Instead of using the word escape, it is a relieving. unfolding.
You may use whatever word you want, sir, but fact remains.
Because what happened now that the brain is been so loaded with a lot of energy and with so much activities. When we are doing it is a totally means like a slowly we are unwinding it.
Harshad sir has already said that there is no problem in going for listening to music when you feel very tired and all that. So,
Right.
yeah.
May I say about a hidden faculty, which Dinesh ji talked about? That hidden faculty, I think it is that sense of I or me, which feels very tired and so wants to escape. And it may not call it escape. It may say, yeah, I feel better if I smoke a little bit. I will come back to proper state. So one can do drinking, smoking, uh, even listening to music. The hidden faculty is this sense of I or me. And so the deeper question is, what is this I or me? And that question, when it comes to have that question itself requires something different than thinking. Okay, I finish.
Thank you, Harshad bhai.
Anand ji wants to.
Shakti ji wants to say something. Then we'll go to Anand ji and then to Mr. Pradeep Prakash. Yes, Shakti ji.
Yes, sir. You see, the problem with escape is that we become attached to escape. And then what happens? That the reality of life, we lose touch with it. Because that attachment becomes heavy. And this Krishnamurti's invitation is to stay with what is. So is it possible to stay with what is even when the what is unpleasant, when it is heavy, when there is sadness about it? To stay with a feeling of unease. It is all right to listen to music or to watch a film and all that. But if it is being done in order to escape from a present unpleasant mindset, then it is losing touch with reality. That is the problem only. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shakti. Anand ji.
Yes, sir. I mean, when I'm tired, I mean, I go for some entertainment or I mean, go for some sport and things like that. Now, that is the functional aspect of it. Now, Krishnamurti is talking about something which is psychological. Now, that is what I need to look at it. When I try to escape, I'm using the word what K is talking about escape. For me, these are solutions. This is my conditioning. From the time I've been born, I've been given a problem I've been asked to solve. So it becomes so natural. So these are my solutions. I don't talk about it. I don't say they're my escape. Can I look at that as a question, sir? The another thing also is attachment gives me a lot of pleasure. I continue with attachment even today. As long as attachment gives pleasure, I don't want to do anything about it. I mean, I don't want to take any action about it. Only thing it becomes a problem. For example, when there's a disintegrated integration in say in relationship with my wife or with my children or my brothers or whoever it is, I want to disassociate myself. I want to be not to be attached with them. That is when it starts. Otherwise, I mean, I don't look at it at all. So yeah, these are the points I wanted to raise. I wanted to speak about, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Pradeep Prakash. Yes, Pradeep, you unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I won't be on the video because I'm right now walking also and listening to it also. So actually, this is escape and confronting is the most profound understanding if anybody can ever understand this process of confronting what is happening in the here and now, mostly which is feeling, versus running away from it. I give you the example. For example, somebody is a smoker and watches a TV ad in which they say that smoking can cause cancer, and they show all that squeezing of the sponge with all the carbon. And this creates anxiety when a smoker looks at it, there's an anxiety. Oh, okay, I will die, I will be damaged. Now, why we want to, now there are two possibilities. One is to stay with that anxiety and confront that I can die and feel that anxiety and then take responsibility for that anxiety and then convert that anxiety into motivation to quit. This is confrontation of the feeling what is happening to me in the here and now, right now, when I'm watching the ad of smoking is injurious to health and I'm a smoker. Now, what is escape? Oh, this is all nonsense. Everybody has to die. I will also die one day. Don't bother. These they keep saying. And, I know people who have lived till 100 years. Now, what I have done? I have run away from that anxiety. And by comforting myself, by denying that it doesn't harm, I have seen people. So, this is called escape. Now, I give you another example. Supposing I reach late and I'm told that you are not punctual, you have disturbed the entire meeting and you are late. Oh, there was a traffic. I respond like that. Oh, because of traffic, I got stuck. And now what is it? If somebody tells me that I am late, I should have been punctual, I'm disturbing, it disturbs me. It makes me feel guilt. Now, one option is I confront this guilt. I feel apologetic. I feel sorry. I feel the guilt and then confront it, deal with it, and ensure that next time I'm motivated to ensure that next time I reach in time. So I have dealt with this feeling functionally, confronted it. The other is escape. It was because of traffic, nothing to do with me. I am not responsible for it. And I run away from that guilt. So this is escape. Now, why we escape? This, the most important question to understand is what is the need to escape? But it is damn easy. Confronting, living with that feeling, staying in that discomfort is painful in the short term. But in the long term, it releases you, it liberates you. But what is happening is that because of our conditioning, because of our ignorance, because of our misfortune, we use the easier path of escaping because that these two paths are confronted all the time to all the human beings. And most of the people choose the escape because that's the easier. But the problem with the escape is you have to keep coming back to it again. You're caught in the cycle. So escape does not liberate. Confronting, dealing, owning, taking responsibility, and doing something about it liberates you. So this is the most profound process in understanding the freedom, the liberation, the empowerment of human being. And this, if you don't understand, if anybody does not understand this, that person can never be free. And here you require awareness because this happens in unawareness in a split second. I'm not even aware I'm doing it. So therefore, these things become words for me, escape or whatever. So being tired and listening to music is not escape. So don't confuse this. Escape is when you are running away, where you have to take action of guilt or whatever it is, anxiety. You're not taking action. You are choosing the easier path and running away. So that is the meaning of escape and confronting. And this is the most profound process. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep.
Sir, I have a question, sir. When I say awareness, that awareness makes me act, but awareness is always of time or is in time. It is perception, action. Are we not making a mistake whenever we talk about awareness? I'm aware right now, sitting over here. I'm sitting in my hall. I'm on this program. I'm watching so many people over here. I'm aware of what's happening, but perception and action is something else. Perception, action. That is what Kay talks about all the time. We are talking about awareness something like perception, which is not true, which is not true. Can I look at it, sir? Over.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, Harshad bhai, please.
Yes. My voice coming all right?
Yes.
Little bit, yeah. Okay. Perception and awareness, they are not different in the way I see it. It's a different word, Krishnaji. One can use attention, awareness, choiceless awareness, intelligence, perception. To me, all they are same thing. And in that, that is a state which is different than thinking and feeling. Now, this is not common in human beings. Awareness, people can say that I am aware of sitting in the chair, but that is not awareness. Awareness means when there is a thought comes, when there is a feeling of anger or jealousy or anything comes, to be in touch with what is unfolding and moving with it. That is very, very difficult, and maybe it may be very rare. Like when we have a toothache, we feel tremendous pain in our tooth, then we immediately go and see a doctor. Similarly, there is a psychological pain and we don't like it. And we go to a psychologist or astrologer or some tantric to be free from this psychological problem. And that is also kind of a escape. So to be looking at oneself exactly, whether it is a pleasure or pain, and to be moving with it without creating a problem, without creating an opposite of it, that I would call awareness or perception or whatever word, attention, whatever word we can use. That is what I feel. Okay, thank you.
So
Can I
again,
say
when I
something?
say tooth, so
Can I say
when I
something?
say tooth pain, it's a functional aspect of it, sir. Can I look at it again? It's a question. Now, like I say, this is what I think. No, this is what every individual says that. He is interpreting what K is saying. This is what I say. I don't know what K is talking about. So can I look at that, sir? Seriously, can I look at it? In fact, in conversation with David Baum, K says, I mean, it is in time. Perception is not of time. So I need to look at it strongly. I mean, when there is, maybe there's fire next to me. Yes, I'm aware there's a fire, then I'll move away. I'll do something about it. We're not talking about that. And even if there's a pain in my, say, I have a toothache, I'm not immediately going to rush to the doctor. I'll find out what is the reason or whatever it is. I'll do something at home. I go do some, I don't know. I'll ask someone else, what am I supposed to do? But when there is some danger, when I see the danger, there's an action. I don't say what I should do or what I should not do. Immediately there's an action. That is what I would look at what K is talking about, sir. Over.
Shakti ji
Can I
wants
say
to say something. Shakti ji wants to say something.
Sir, Anandji, the problem seems to be that there is this attachment with unawareness. It is not that we understand the unawareness is a problem only because Krishnamurti is saying so, but it does create problems in life. But then it gives us pleasures also. Unawareness provides pleasures also. So it becomes an inner fragmentation. That is the problem which I feel that everybody is facing existentially, or at least I am facing existentially. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Pradeep ji. Pradeep ji.
Sir, I want to talk about the logistics here. The moment I finished speaking, I was muted, and some people keep talking whenever they feel like talking. So I don't know what is the process here. How do you mute, unmute, and whom do you keep mute, whom do you keep unmute? So there's some logistics issue. And secondly, I have a suggestion that when the number is not large, say 20, 27 people right now, I don't think there is need to mute. You can control if there is a huge, chaos happening. But in this kind of a discussion where, supposing Pradeep wants to respond or something, so I feel that this becomes a hassle. I just as a suggestion that please ensure that there's some other possible ways that you don't keep muting, unmuting people when the number is small. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can take two more comments before we close. And let's hear Dinesh ji and then Mr. Pradeep Verma.
Actually, sir, I wanted to basically explore and question the root of the issue, individuality. Individuality is also coming into picture. I am feeling tired, and I listen to music and I get replenish my energy. Similarly, the other person goes to a movie or some he goes to a painting, do painting, and he feels his energy replenished. So, what is this replenishment of energy? It is not a question of simple feeling. What is the thing I am feeling tired? Is it only feeling or something else? This is my question to Harshad sir as well as Dubey sir.
I think you can give that answer yourself. You don't need to ask anybody.
I
Yeah.
Yes, Pradeep ji. Mr. Pradeep Verma. Yes.
Yes, sir. I think we have discussed so many things, but the main thing was that was craving, right? So one has to think what craving does. This differs from person to person. The very fact that ultimately during the discussion, JK says that you have to be free from craving, right? So it tells you that what craving does usually, it disturbs your peace of mind, maybe for some time or something else, for some more time. We are talking about extreme cravings like liquor or smoking. But whether I have a craving for asking questions and testing others, this is a very different type of craving. It automatically starts. Under certain conditions, we keep on asking questions and ultimately get derailed, leaving that main topic, craving, what craving is, what it does to a person, what it does to me. First, whether I know what craving is, whether I want to be free from craving, and all that. Of course, and each one has to, all of us, we have to see what craving does to me. You see, awareness here plays an important role. Harshadji was talking about awareness, different gradations of awareness. Definitely, choiceless awareness is the ultimate, where the person is almost not there, the self is not there, little self, and you want to know, and somehow you just see things as they are. And that's all, not happy or unhappy with that, but whatever it is. But usually our awareness is partial. So we are associated or identified with, and we like with our likes and dislikes. So awareness during craving and after that, a person has the space to review what craving has done to me. You see? So the very fact whether there is a chance to come out of it, that craving. That is what. And craving happens in physics. Every time giving chances to review the state of craving and its effects. So one thing is sure, that each person has to see for himself or herself what craving he experiences in his life and whether he can come out, if it is suffering, whether he can come out of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Verma. I think we have come to the end of the session now. So I'll close and just make an announcement that next Sunday we have Mr. Rajaram Kudli from Bangalore. He's an ex-parent of the Valley School and has been associated with the teachings for more than 3 decades. He'll be talking about importance of the light within. So you're all welcome to join us on next Sunday, that is 13th at 11 a.m. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Everybody who participated.
Thank
Modak,
you all.